This is episode 3 of Racing Thoughts. So technically, I don't even know if that's like episode 12 or episode like 13, 14. It's up there. This is not what I was expecting to go out next. I was actually expecting to upload another podcast with one of my buddies, Jake. Shout out, Jake. I am so sorry, Jake. Essentially, what had happened was I had actually recorded a podcast last week with one of my friends, Jackson, Jake. You guys know Jake. I've talked about Jake before. And it was probably one of the best podcast episodes that one of the best that I've recorded so far. It's very philosophical conversations with Jake. And he's just very smart, so it's very nice to bounce ideas off of him and just kind of get his thoughts. And he's also just an interesting person. So I really do like talking to Jake. And I was loving the entire podcast. And at the end, even there was so just the conversation we were having itself was amazing. But another idea that he had, because and I've thought about it, but I never really put it to fruition and didn't think about it seriously until he brought it up, and he kind of led the way with how it was going to be recorded, is recording a podcast outside. So we were recording a podcast outside. It was beautiful outside. It was like a perfect day to be just sitting outside talking. And so we went outside, set it all up. We recorded it. We recorded over an hour, just me and him just talking. And then at the end, there's fucking turkeys that showed up. Turkeys, bro. I was like, what the fuck? And so the turkey showed up. We finished the podcast. And then when I went to go click on, so I record the audio and the video separate. So when I went to go on my audio device to stop, the audio recording, it said card full. And as soon as I read that, my heart dropped. I'm like, no fucking way. Did I just record an entire podcast and it not get, and did I catch no audio? So, I was just, the first thing I did was I popped the card out of the audio recording device. It's also, if you guys want to ever do a podcast yourself, it's just a Zoom Track 4. So it's pretty, it's a pretty simple, it's really simple, and it makes recording podcasts super easy. So if you guys ever wanted to use that, that's what I use, right? That's what I'm using right now. So anyways, I pop it out and I put it into my laptop, check out the audio, check out everything, see what's up. And believe it or not, I actually did record some audio, but only literally half of the podcast. I recorded about a little over 30 minutes of it was about an hour and 10 podcast. So it was one of those things where I was pretty frustrated because actually there's only been 2 podcast episodes that I've lost, like where I've recorded an entire podcast and just wasn't able to upload it, either because the audio quality was too bad, or this time just no audio, literally just no audio for half the podcast. And it's only happened to Jake. So I've only ever recorded a podcast with Jake and it not be able to be uploaded. When it's him by himself. I did one with him and his girlfriend Chloe, and just frustrating, very frustrating, because it's only happened to Jake. They were both amazing podcasts. The first one was my second podcast ever, and it was fire. It was amazing. But what's it called? So that's why I didn't upload last week. Unfortunate. I probably could have figured out another way to also, record and upload a podcast, but I was just busy, and I figured I wasn't gonna force myself and just stress out even more, because the day actually, or the night that we recorded the podcast, I was gonna go to an anime convention, but it was getting a little late, and I just didn't really feel like it. I didn't really feel like spending the money, so I just went home after. Well, we actually went to it was like an LA chicken place that we went to. It was actually pretty good. It was actually, I would put it chicken wise, probably in my probably top 10. I know that seems kind of bad, but yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of chicken. Chicken's my favorite meat for sure. So I'd say yeah, top 10, maybe top 5, but yeah. Regardless. After the podcast, I went to eat, went home, and that was a Friday. So Saturday, I actually did go up to the anime convention, and I actually had a pickleball tournament, a doubles pickleball tournament. So I didn't really have any time then because the pickleball tournament lasted um, like 5 hours. I can get more into that later, but it was about 5 hours. So that was a pretty fun event. But then after that, I had another pickleball. So Saturday pickleball tournament for basically the majority of the day. And then afterwards, I went to the anime convention, dropped way too much money on figures. And then the day after Sunday, I had another pickleball tournament, just singles, which again we'll get into that later. Upsetting, to say the least, but that was fun. So didn't really have too much. I mean, I probably had time on Sunday, but I didn't want to. Actually, after the tournament, I had a couple drinks, and ooh, Joel, shout out Joel, he made me a couple mixies, bro. Ooh, those shits were fire, actually. Um, so that was fun. That was my weekend. A little frustrating, but it was fun. The pickleball tournament, honestly, is kind of what brought it up. It kind of upped the weekend, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I was so excited to upload that podcast. It just the aesthetics of it, the conversation, it was just all around a really really good podcast, an amazing podcast, and it just so I still have the audio. I mean, I have half the audio of the pod. I have the audio of half of the podcast, and I still have the whole video. So I record all of it was recorded. So like I have all the video. If I could just upload it and there'd be no audio, or I guess half the audio. But I'm not gonna do that. It's just I don't know. It's kind of like it's like a half finished painting. It just wouldn't look right without the other half, unless like unless you're like in a niche type of artist, whatever, in a niche area in the artist world where they only do half the painting. You know, I have no valid opinion on art because I'm not a very artistic person. So, don't quote me on that. There probably is some niche. Maybe it might not even be niche. It might be like a huge audience of like where painters paint half a painting, and there's beauty in that, or that's their art, and that's their way of expressing themselves through their painting or whatever. So, um, anyways, it was just bum weekend, but this now going on to the pickleball tournaments. I had a 4.0 doubles tournament last Saturday, and if you know anything about pickleball 4.0, and this is in the Lincoln area, so I've been told that Lincoln, it's pretty easy going, honestly, if you're actually trying to play competitive pickleball. So 4.0 is not that. It's pretty easy. 4.0 doubles in Lincoln, I mean. So I did that, got third place, and normally I would say I'm like a 3.5 player. So I'm not that good. I'm still a beginner. I'm still learning, and I don't even know if I'm going to play pickleball over the weekend just because of ease of access. Like during the summer, I could just show up after work, and there's still some daytime. There's still like 2-3 hours, about 2 hours of playtime that I could have. But now it's getting colder. Days are getting shorter, so I don't have as much time to play, and it's just not outside. And then inside, there's not in Lincoln a lot of places to go to play pickleball. Inside, there's like one spot, but you have to pay for it, and it just I don't know. I don't know if I'll continue playing pickleball over the winter, but anyways, so 4.0 is fairly easy in Lincoln. I got third, and for my doubles partner, but my doubles partner is way better than me. I don't know. He asked me to play with him, and I was like, are you sure? Because I think I'm a 3.5. And he's like, yeah. I mean, I played a tournament with another person, and I think you would do pretty solid. So I signed up with him, got third. We could have won. we could have won, but I made some dumb mistakes. We both made mistakes and stuff, but I think I made more. I definitely made more mistakes than he did. If I was just a little bit more consistent, I think just if I was more consistent, not even if I had better shots or if I played better, if I was just more consistent, which I guess is playing better, but if I was just more consistent, I think we had a real good chance of winning. We had the ability to win, we just didn't pull through. So that was 4.0 doubles Saturday, which was very fun. I would play that again in a heartbeat. And then I had 3.5 singles, which I really don't even want to get into. I don't want to get into it. I got third. It was it was so weird. It was just weird. Yeah, I got third, which is not fun. Not fun at all. I had. All right, I'll explain a little bit. I'll tell you why I'm a little frustrated with myself. Not anymore, but thinking back on it, it's still a little upsetting, I guess. But so I show up. Two guys from Hastings. They always play each other, I guess. There's not a lot of people in Hastings that play pickleball apparently, so they always play each other. One guy's name is Luis. One guy's name is Chris. Luis beats me. I play him first. Well, I play a different guy, but he was just like a beginner in pickleball, so Luis played him 9-11 or 11-9. He beat me barely. It's close. Chris 11-9 again. He beat me. It's very, very close. So I'm the third seed. Luis is the second seed. Chris is the first seed because I guess Chris beat Luis. I played Luis for a chance to go against Chris because he's the first seed. And there's other people, but they showed up and then they left halfway through. So it was really just against us three. So there's only 5 people total. And so I was going against Luis because I'm the 3 seed. He's the 2 seed. Luis, I steamroll him first round. Not even joking. It was 10-0 at one point. He got 4 points in the end, so it was 11-4 by the end of the round. That end of that first game. The second game, it was very close. I think it ended 11-8. Luis beat me, but it was a very close match. Third game, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling it's all right. But I honestly think I psyched myself out too much. I'm like, I can't come back from this, but I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna still try, but I can't come back from this. It's a loser mentality that I need to switch up when I'm actually competing in pickleball. When I'm running or doing some other type of competition or just actually no, I'd say all the other types of competing, at least sports wise. I'm gonna reiterate the last few sentences I just tried making up in my head, and and the ones that I spoke out. My head. This is why I call this racing thoughts, because my head's always going 2,000 miles per hour, and it's hard for me sometimes to form a sentence and get it out. It's hard for me to articulate my words, essentially. Luis, I always psych myself out in pickleball because I believe that I'm not that good, which I'm not. But for what level I'm playing at against me against compared to my competitors, I have a solid chance, and I'm I have the ability to win, and I can win if I just really focus in and lock in and play smart. But I psych myself out in pickleball, and going into game 3, I psyched myself out a little bit, but I was feeling good. I was still feeling confident, and it was I think I had the lead most of the game. No, it was actually back and forth most of the game, because I remember I was okay, it's anyone's game, but I got this. This is me. This is mine. I'm gonna beat Luis. I'm gonna go to Chris. I got this. And so it's towards the end of the game, and it's 10-8. I'm up. One more point to win. I lose the ball. All right, it's okay. We'll get it back. 10-9. Fuck, dude. Okay, it's all right. 10-10. Okay, stop him now. You need to get 2 more points. Do it. 11-10. He's up. Fuck, dude. Fuck. Game ends. 12-10. I lose. I was up. 1 more point. He comes back. 4-point run. So, and then he goes to win it. He ends up winning the whole thing. So he got first. At the time, even at the time, that day, I knew I had the ability to win. I should have won if I would have just no, not that I should have won because I didn't. I had the ability to win, and it was basically all I had to do is just reach out and try and actually put effort into it and really, really, really lock in. And I didn't. So I got third place, which was, and that was 3.5. So not 4.0. So Saturday I played 4.0 doubles, which my partner carried me a little bit. I still played very, very well for my level, and 4.0 doubles. But that was Sunday was 3.5 singles, and it's just one of those most. It's like you could have done it, you should have done it, but you just didn't show up, which is fine. You have your days, but that's the technically. Oh, I guess I had another tournament, but that didn't go too well. So I had one tournament in Kearney, one other one in Lincoln, and then just this last one this weekend. So technically, that was my fourth day actually, not tournament wise, but fourth tournament day I guess that I'd ever done. So I have that, and I haven't been playing for very long, which is something that I gotta remind myself. It's just you work your way into it, you get better as the time goes on, just practicing. So that was frustrating, but that was my weekend. And now this weekend, I'm actually getting tatted. I'm getting a tattoo, so that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna go down to Grand Island tomorrow, see how that goes, and I'm actually kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to get inked up again. Not on my leg, because I've been working on my leg sleeve since last November. I'm gonna finish it after almost exactly a year, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of wild. Um, but I have one more, maybe two more sessions actually. So maybe I won't. Maybe it might be a little bit over a year, but um, one more part of my leg. I only have one more character, if you want to call it that, one more side of my leg, and it's good. I guess it's a good portion of the leg on the inside, so it's gonna fucking hurt. But I've been working on that for a little. I guess it's gonna be most likely a little over a year before I actually finish the leg sleeve. And I'll probably show it off sometime. Maybe like on the after it's done, I'll show it on like on one of the podcast episodes. Just like wear some shorts or something. Just kind of put it out there, I guess. But um, tomorrow I'm actually getting one on my back, so that's gonna be fun. And it's actually yeah, I guess I'll say it now. Shout out Ink by Joplin. I think that's what it is. And my phone's the one recording this, so I'll check it up just to make sure, but I can't. But I'm pretty sure it's Ink by Joplin, Joplin Smith. Shout out to her. I've seen her work. It looks fucking great. It looks really good. So I'm excited to get tattooed by her. So shout out to her. She's in GI, and you can find her on Facebook. She probably has an Instagram, but I haven't looked it up on Instagram. But you can find her on Facebook. She's really dope. Or at least she is dope as a person, and her work is also really dope. Excited to get tattooed, and then I probably yeah, I could show it off yeah, I could probably show it off by like the next time I upload. This is going up on obviously the Sunday is probably whenever you guys are listening to this. I'm recording this Friday. It's gonna be up on this Sunday, so yeah, I could show it off next time. Just kind of give you guys an idea of what kind of work she does. She does line work, I guess, but she also no well. She told me she likes to do line work. What she's done before and what she's posted on Facebook looks like line work, but I recently looks like she's done a little bit more shading work, and the work that she's done, like the shading, it looks really good. So, um, I'll show you guys on the next tattoo or on the next podcast. I'll show you guys the tattoo from Joplin. So that's gonna be exciting. That's this weekend. Might actually have a poker night for Halloween, or yeah, might have a poker night for Halloween, but I don't know. I'm debating whether or not I should drink because I have a not this weekend, but the weekend after I have a half marathon. So I've just got a busy schedule. I've honestly just been busy all of October. I've been like just running around doing something, always doing something, which is nice. But sometimes it is nice to just kind of sit down, relax, do whatever. So yeah, yeah. I think today, honestly, I'm just gonna fucking clean my room. I'm just gonna do me. I'm just gonna do me. And might have a poker night. That's gonna be fucking sick. And then, like I said, half marathon after that. So, and then after that, after the half marathon weekend, I'm getting tattooed. So I'm fucking schedule's loaded. That's why if you ever want to do like a podcast, you really gotta schedule your time because it is gonna take a good chunk of the day out for you. So yeah, I don't know. there's not too much else. Oh, something else I did want to mention. So I'm naturally like a pretty self introspective person. I like to think about my actions. I'm pretty aware, thoughtful of what my actions, well, of what just my actions, I guess. And I think it'd be very interesting to see what it would be like, or not what it would be like. I guess just seeing how other people live their life and the thoughts that their thought processes. Like I was asking Jackson on the podcast that got deleted. It didn't get deleted, but on the podcast that we recorded, I asked him the same question. I told him that it would be very interesting to see what it'd be like to live through someone else's perspective, kind of get their thoughts, see how they view the world, see why they make the decisions they do, which is a very that's probably like a more sociology type question that I should probably ask someone who majors in that, but um, it's something that I think because I'm interested in people. I when I'm in a room full of people, I guess you could say I people watch, which might be a little weird, but I like to see how people interact with others. And I was actually just thinking about this. When I'm watching sports, I'm not necessarily always watching just for the sports or just for the sport itself. I watch like how the people react to whether they win a point, lose point, win the game, lose the game, how they interact with their partners, with their teammates. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think I've just very, believe it or not, I think like I'm an introvert. I think I would say I'm a little bit more introverted, but I can talk to people when I have to, or when I want to, I guess. Um, but yeah, I think, like I said, I think I'm more of an introvert, but I think I like. What am I looking for? I'm gonna scratch that before I say something fucking like something absurd. So I'm gonna scratch that thought, but essentially, I want to see what it'd be like to kind of get out of my thought process and see what it'd be like thinking or having a different thought process, seeing what it'd be like viewing the world with kind of a different mindset, which I know I can do myself, but I just want to kind of get a glimpse of it through someone else's eyes. So because I was just watching, all right, I actually that's not true. It was like I was on Instagram, I saw a video or a reel, and it was like the thoughts that you have. So in your mind, excuse me, in your mind, your brain automatically picks out the information, or it automatically tries to validate your ideas that you already have in your mind that are locked in. So it picks out information, while you're having conversations, while you're watching YouTube, while you're watching TV, while you're out and about, when you listen to other people's conversations, when you're listening to podcasts, it picks out information to validate the thoughts that you have in your head, whether they be good thoughts or bad thoughts. So, like, for example, if you think you're fat, you're always going to be looking. Your brain is always constantly going to try to validate the thought that you're fat by, or just whenever you're going around listening, watching something. So it's like if someone says, "Oh, hey, that sweatshirt looks pretty cool. Looks kind of big. Did you get it somewhere?" Just for an example. I know that was kind of a rough example, but sweatshirt looks big. I wear the sweatshirt because I'm fat. I'm fat. Fuck you. That's not exactly how it would go, but essentially, that's a very, very bad example. But like I said, it's hard for me to articulate what I'm thinking into words. But essentially, the point is your brain tries to validate the ideas that you have in your head. So that's what. So since your brain does that, I automatically am validating naturally. I'm just validating the thoughts or the opinions that I have in my head. So what it would be like if someone had completely different ideals, a completely different moral compass than I do. Someone who believes certain things aren't necessarily as bad compared to me, because I feel like I'm a pretty what's the word? Empathetic person. So I think a lot of things can be considered bad. Well, scratch that thought. I don't know. That time I really don't know what I was trying to say, but yeah, trying to see someone else who has like a different moral compass or has different ideals, their brain's automatically gonna try to validate their opinions and their thoughts. So they're gonna think about the world completely differently than I do, and I would like to see what their perspective would be. Is essentially what I'm trying to say. That whole long, drawn out thought that I had, that was my point. I want to see. I want to live the world through someone else's eyes, and I think I already said that, but that's what I want to do. That's another thought that I was asking Jake. Um, so yeah, I think it's just gonna be living life. I'm gonna live and learn, and I will eventually just by talking to people, kind of get different views and different points. So I guess I just gotta grow up, just talk to more people. Yeah, yeah, because I'm 21 now. Um, some people actually think that I'm older just because of the beard and stuff. Always, this is nothing. When I walk into a room, I almost always assume everyone's older than me, just because I don't know. Normally hang out with like people who are old, or I used to hang out with people who were like a little bit older than me. So I always assume everyone's older than me. And then sometimes I tell people I'm 21. They're like, "You're 21? No way!" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 21." And it's just the beard. It really is just the beard, honestly. So I think about getting a haircut today too. Anyways, I think that's probably enough of my rambling. I don't think there was anything else that I wanted to mention. Books, maybe books. I'm buying a lot of books. Yeah. Oh, I read a book recently for book club. I don't know if that book club is gonna last. I don't know if that's gonna last, but I read a book. It's by Christopher Paolini, the guy who wrote the Airgun series. Um, I'll pull it up. I just grabbed it right now. It's called "To Sleep in a Sea of Stars." Really, really, really good book. It's sci-fi. It's set in the time period is actually I don't, oh it's like 27. It's 2,700 and like 35 or something like that. It's around that date, and it's a sci-fi book. Humans have advanced a lot. Their technology is really advanced, and it's not really no, it's not really spoilers. Essentially, aliens. That's about all I'll say for it. But for those book readers that actually listen to this podcast or to this Racing Thoughts episode, that's a really good book that I recommend. And there's actually a prequel book out already. It's called Fractal Noise. I haven't read that one. I'm thinking about I might actually start that one. Maybe not today, but I want to start that one soon. So we'll see how it goes. But that's probably going to be it for this episode. Episode 3 of the Racing Thoughts. So I will. I'll get that tattoo tomorrow, show it on the next pod, and kind of go from there. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.